Okay. So like what kind of stuff people want to know? Yeah, I'm like all sweaty.
Most the most question I get asked is where you from? How did you get to Utah? What made you start a barbecue business? What else? Do I enjoy cooking? Did I say how did you get to Utah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
That's the
sort of,
main.
I feel like there's a lot of details there.
Yeah.
Okay, you got here?
So yeah, it was basically in 2017 they had a Hurricane Harvey come through and hit Houston and all of the South. And so my wife, her daddy lived up here in Tooele. Now let's go back to 2010. I came up here and stayed for a week. Her brother got married in Park City. So we lived up in a villa for about a week in Park City, but we would come down to Tooele because that's where our daddy stayed here. And I told myself, it was just different, man. The people, the weather, like it was all different. And I told myself, if I ever moved, that I would consider coming up here. And so,
what kind of stuff? Like, you say like the people, like what stuck out? Like what was it?
by just the way they act, like they're real friendly. Like they don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't, man, it was real different coming from Texas to up north. It's just a total culture shock. But I was surprised how good the people are. You know what I mean? Like the longest I've been up here, there's so many good people up here. Good people willing to help you. You know what I mean? Willing to really just, man, put it all on the line for you. But and there's people like that in Texas too, don't get me wrong. But I mean, coming out of your comfort zone. Texas was my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And my first time leaving Texas, I was 37 years old. I hadn't been to no other state or nowhere all my life. I was 37 years old when I left Texas, and Utah was the first state I came to. Yeah. So there's just a lot there. You know, this was the first state. I had been to Louisiana and stuff like that before I was working. I mean, just really getting on and checking it out. But yeah, so Hurricane Harvey hit. We moved up here to stay with her dad for a little while and just wound up staying. I was in the oil field at the time. I was working for Trinidad Drilling. And we was out there in West Texas in Midland and Odessa. So in the beginning, I was flying back and forth from here to Texas.
Just to do oil?
To work. To work. We talking about good money, bro. If I'm gonna get on that jet and take off, it's gonna be for good money. We talking about good money, man. Like, like it really, that money really had an effect on my life at that time because it was motivation to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started from the bottom, worked my way all the way up to a drilling superintendent, a rig manager. I drilled for like 8 years or so. So I was calling the shots at one point out there. I even took it as far as going to St. Kitts and Nevis, where I drilled into a volcano to provide geothermal energy for this island. Yeah, for real, man, I'm telling you. That happened in 2018. But yeah, so we ended up here and I was driving back and forth to Wyoming because that was the closest place where rigs was really running. And it was horrible. Wyoming is super cold. And the wind never stopped blowing. Like, that was the coldest I ever been in my life. Man, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it was cold. It was super cold. So I was tired of that. And I get this job at the smelter right around the corner.
From here?
Yeah.
Into
Rio Tinto. I took this job because it was close, it was convenient. I took about a $10,000 pay cut when I took this job. And I was excited about it at first, man. I was like, man, this is something new, a new career at 30, 37, 30, well, not 37, 42 years old, 43 years old, I switched careers. Trying to see what this is about. Now, all that smelter, all that Rio Tinto stuff is ran by the union. I had never worked for the union before, so I really didn't know what to expect. But working there motivated me to get something started myself. It was the worst job that I ever worked for as far as culture.
Got a smelter.
Yes.
Dude, that sounds hot.
Yeah.
Sounds hard.
And it was good people there. It was good people there. But far as culture, when you're talking about people that's motivated to get up and go do their job every day and do it with some efficiency and to do it safely and do it with the main thing, pride, it wasn't there.
Not there.
So my attitude changed quickly. You know, I'm used to working on these rigs where we're working around an elite force. Everybody takes pride in their work. Everybody wants the cleanest rig. Everybody wants to drill the fastest wells, you know, stuff like that. To come into where they don't even listen to the supervisors. They talk back to the supervisors. If you talk back to them supervisors on that rig, you're going to the house. You're going home. And that was the culture that I come up in far as when you're talking about a standard. Trinidad Drilling, hey, I'll never forget. They made me who I am as a man. I worked most of my career with them. And the standards that they set, that's what stuck to me. So when I talk about barbecue, there's a standard. Like when you look at my pit, I want it to be clean. When you look at my mitt. When you look at that barbecue meat, I want it to look the same all the time. Because I want a product, you know what I'm saying? I want to build a product that can sell just like a Big Mac, a McDonald's, a Whataburger, a Popeyes, all them big franchises, but the difference about me is mine is gonna be the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you taste this, when you look at it, the flavor is gonna back it up.
All right, so I got to know.
Okay.
The first time you realized people wanted your barbecue, when it clicked in your head, I could sell this?
So, and that takes it back to the beginning when I used to load up this little offset smoker that I bought from Walmart. I used to load that up on back of my truck and take it to my kids' football game. And we would be out there all day, so I would cook for my kids. You know what I'm saying? So, because man, there's not a lot of varieties that's gonna be good food. When I moved up here, that's the first thing I noticed was the quality of food. So, yeah, I used to take that pit out there, and while I would be cooking for them, people would be walking by wanting to know if I was selling the meat. That's how it all started. At first, I wasn't selling the meat. But when I seen that they was asking for it, and then when they was tasting, they was like, man, where do you get this from? I was like, what?
So it's just always been good.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I'm good at this?
Man, I wasn't even a pit master, bro. At that time, I had to go look on YouTube videos to just make sure I knew how to cook a brisket. Just the basics, just give me the basics, you know what I'm saying? Like, so right then and there, I took that pit out there a few times, and man, one day we made like $1,200 selling sandwiches on that little bitty pit. So guess what I say?
Do it again.
I need something bigger. You know what I'm saying? I need something bigger to get out more volume. Hell, we could start a business. If they buying barbecue like that, and then COVID hit. When COVID hit, they had a Dickies here in town. They shut that Dickies down, so I was the only one selling barbecue, and I was still working at the smelter. So I was selling the barbecue on the side. And I'm sitting up in there, I'm making all these, I'm sitting up in there, I'm working all these days here. I'm working days there, and I'm doing barbecue. I'm trying to do catering jobs. Well, eventually it just started to be too much.
Working at the smelter and doing barbecue.
Yeah. And so June of last year, I made up my mind. I told myself, man, if I could just give it my all, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to put into my fitness. If I could just give it my all like that, I could make something out of it. And then quit my job. It was still summertime, June. July went good. August went. We did all our normal festivals. August went good.
I mean, that's got to be nerve-wracking. You quit your job.
Yeah, because that was
Hold your breath.
That was my only source of income. I just let it go. And I'm dependent on this barbecue now. I really put a lot of pressure on myself to make it work. So, like I say, June, August, July was the summertime. At the end of August, when I know it starts getting cool again here, my mind started wondering, man, I wonder how we would do in the wintertime. I know we could sell it in the summer, but the wintertime's coming along, and the winters are way longer than the summer. I'm not gonna lie, man, I started worrying. I know the product's good, but will we continue to get these catering jobs after all the festivals are done? And we got catering jobs online, did pretty good in December of 2022. But